You're listening to the VTZone.com's weekly Scoutcast. Everything Hokies. And now here's publisher Jason Stamm.
Welcome to another edition of the VTZone.com Scoutcast. I am publisher Jason Stamm. Coming to you, we're in the aftermath of the battle at Bristol. This was something we'd hyped up. Everybody had hyped up for, gosh, I know officially it was 3 years, but this was like 20 years in the making. So somebody who was also on hand, he was also at the game, our man Doug Bowman. Doug, did you? I hope you took a pair of binoculars. Did you take binoculars?
I did not, but I should have.
Well, I knew it wasn't a good sign. I was on the field, but we had Delaney up in the press box, and I knew it wasn't a good sign when the media gift was a pair of binoculars.
That's never a good sign.
No, that's never a good sign at all. And I'm sure our man Derrick Skip Hopkins was probably watching from the comfort of his living room. Am I right?
Yes, the best seat in the house. My TV in the house, best seat.
Well, you didn't have to use any binoculars, so you obviously had a good seat.
I didn't. I had people doing it for me, zooming in for me. Make sure you get the right angles and stuff. They get paid to do that, so I just took advantage of it.
Right. Well, and it was high def too. You didn't have to squint. Even if you didn't have it like Doug did.
Yeah, see, Doug, he was there, so that was, it's always best to get things done for you.
So I don't want to give too much away. I know Doug is going to go in depth about his experience at the game from a fan's perspective. You got a chance to see, at least I guess, quite a few things while you were there. Were you glad you went? I'll let you say that, Doug.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just in general, it was pretty awesome. Just the scope of everything that was happening, and Bristol Motor Speedway is probably the biggest thing I've ever seen. So it was cool.
It was pretty surreal. Coming in from if you're coming in from one of the corners, especially was it 394? I don't know what side you guys came in, but when you're walking in towards the Coliseum, it's ridiculously huge. It's unreal.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I don't know about you, Doug, it reminded me of the national championship. I don't know if you stayed till the end, but the confetti falling everywhere and
yeah, they didn't cut in corners with it.
Tennessee had their shirts and hats on. It said champions, and
yeah, they went a little overboard there.
I mean, in all fairness, I guess they would have done. It would have done the same thing if Virginia Tech had won, but it was kind of strange to see that. So, Doug, from your perspective, man, I know you were watching some ants out there, but what were just kind of some of your overall thoughts on the battle at Bristol?
A lot of missed opportunities. I mean, you can't give the ball away 5 times and expect to win, but I mean, Virginia Tech was clearly the superior team there in the first quarter, and then the bad snap fumble on the Gerard Evans CJ Carroll exchange just completely changed the momentum in the game. So and then you put the ball on the ground 4 more times against a team like that, and give them the short field that they got inside the red zone to start drives at him. I thought Virginia Tech definitely could have won the game, and they just pretty much gave it away.
So, Skip, from the comfort of your living room in high def, you got to watch all these replays, and what did you think about what you saw?
I mean, we started off great. It was, defense playing good, offense scoring, and then the second quarter came. I mean, it wasn't just the fumble. The fumble kind of started to snowball, but just mistakes, turnovers, defense not, even though offense, did turn the ball over. Defense has to make some plays too. You can't let them, come back, turn over and they score the next play. I mean, come on, we got to make some plays too on defense to, to kind of stop that momentum. Get the ball back, get the momentum back on our side. That's what, as a defense, you're supposed to, offense do make them say, okay, fine, we got to make a stop. We got to stop this from going any further. So, but yeah, just mistakes and lack of making plays. It kind of just messed up. From opening kickoff, everything was good. Then we stopped making plays for some reason. So
yeah, I'm with you, Skip. I mean, yeah, as far as the defense goes, I mean they were given a short field. I know Tennessee got it at least once at the 5 or 4. They scored, but yeah, you can't let them score on the very next play. Like you got to at least hold a little bit. But you guys brought up some, a lot of really good points. And the main thing I want to talk about first, because we're now talking about 2 games in a row. This isn't a 1-game thing. 2 games. Virginia Tech now has 9 total fumbles. I don't think they have an interception. It's just all fumbles. So obviously, ball security is a huge concern. Doug, how big of a concern is it, and how do you fix it?
If they're going to keep fumbling at 4 or 5 times a game, I mean, it's the biggest concern right now. You got to, take care of the ball, and anytime you're giving away the ball as much as they have in the last 2 games, I mean, that's going to make it difficult to win. They got away with it against Liberty, but, that's Liberty, and, happened again against Tennessee, a better opponent. And you saw what happened in Bristol. So, I mean, I think that's probably the number one thing to address going forward is taking care of the ball, and which guys can you trust to not cough it up whenever they get hit.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, Skip, I don't know about you. I mean, I was surprised that this is 2 weeks in a row. One of those guys making the fumbles was Cam Phillips. I mean, had the fumble against Liberty, had the fumble in the fourth quarter last night, on Saturday night against Tennessee. Gerard Evans, I don't know. I know he gets credited for that fumble. If you look at the replay, and I know you did from your living room, the ball and C.J. Carroll, it seemed to get there at the exact same time. So something was, I don't know if that's C.J. Carroll's fault or Evans' fault for when he to put him in motion, but something's obviously wrong there. But how worried are you, or how much should we be worried about all these fumbles right now?
Right now, you should be it's a big deal. Pretty much you lost the game because you fumbled the ball all day. And giving Tennessee a chance to go and score. I mean they're a good team. You can't give them that many chances, that many free chances to get the ball back on their side and score. That's you put yourself in a position right there to lose. So I mean, it's just that I think it's serious now. Last week it's Liberty. Okay, first game. We're trying to get adjusted this season. Okay, blah blah. Now you get 5 more. It's like, whew. Okay, you got 9 in 2 games. All right. It's like, okay, this is something has to happen. You can't keep getting all these fumbles. You can't end up with 14 fumbles in 3 games. That wouldn't be good. So I think it's a big issue right now. So
Skip, in that first quarter though, man, it just seemed like that was to me it almost had feelings of like Ohio State a couple years ago. Like everything went right. Tennessee went 3 and out twice. They had Virginia Tech had 204 yards of offense in the first quarter. Trayvon McMillan had that big time run down the sideline. Is that kind of a peek at how good this team can be?
It is. I think it is. We have potential to be really good. We just gotta stop making mistakes and stop, getting all these mental errors and critical errors and all this stuff like that. But I think that definitely showed that we have the potential to be a really good team. Also, it shows that we need to come out with that same type of intensity and hold it. We'll stand that same type of intensity all game, not just for one quarter. Because if you just do it for one quarter, then everything kind of settled down. As it gives the other team a chance to come back. But we can keep that same intensity the whole game. I think we got something there.
So, Doug, I know wherever you were sitting up in the grandstand, I know you were you and your boys were hype when
nosebleeds.
You and your boys were hype when they got up to a 14-0 lead. Were you surprised by the first quarter?
Yeah, you definitely had to be. I mean, Tennessee, obviously a really good team, a lot of talent. And Tech pretty much came out and dominated them for that first 15 minutes. I mean, offensively, you saw the McMillan run, just great blocking on that play, and then McMillan ran away from him all, and then guys like Eck and him were destroying the Tennessee offensive line. So, I mean, Tech was clearly the superior team after 15 minutes, and I don't think Tennessee was expecting that at all, and certainly we weren't. So yeah, it was definitely a big surprise.
Doug, we've talked about, you talked about it in, I know your summer questions. We talked about it we've talked about on the podcast about how Trayvon McMillan was going to be used. And he had 14 carries, 127 yards. Of course, 69 of it came on that run. But is that about what, to me, 14 carries, that's about what I expected. But is that kind of about how you expect him to be used? Are we kind of getting a better idea how he's fitting in?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you'll see as far as number of carries. I think 15 per game when they're splitting it between him and Rodgers, and they got Shai McKenzie in there a little bit, it looks like, as well. So, he clearly proved on that play that he's one of the top tailbacks, if not top tailback on the roster. So, I don't think you're going to see much changing unless he gets even more work, but. That was a really impressive run there in the first quarter.
So, Skip, between that run and I know you saw where Sam Rodgers, I can't remember that second quarter or third quarter, where he basically lowered his shoulder and kind of knocked that guy back about 5 yards. Did you get a little hype on those?
Yeah, man, you got to, man. Sam came to play yesterday, man. I don't know about you, but after kind of the first quarter, was it just me, or did they just kind of get away from Sam a little bit for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I kind of thought so too.
The first quarter was like, okay, Sam, yeah, getting passes, and okay. Then after that, it was more shot. It was just everybody else. You didn't really, see Sam carry the ball or, Sam catch a pass or anything like that. It was more, kind of. I know you want to give other guys a chance, but. The first quarter, Sam was doing good. You got to ride that momentum. Keep it going. Don't just, get away from it. It was, Sam, and then you had Trayvon, and Sam again. And, it was kind of going back and forth. They had a little rotation, but it seemed like to me that it just kind of got away from Sam, and that he was kind of guy that was giving you that energy, and that momentum, forward to, give me the ball. I'm ready to go. But yeah, Sam played good. Hopefully they keep going to him. So
Skip, from when you played, I know you guys had some games where you had a lot of penalties, and penalties were huge. There weren't like a ton. 8 penalties is a pretty good amount, but 101 yards, they were big penalties. Even the interception that Mook had, you had a block in the back, unsportsmanlike conduct on the same play. Knocked him back 30 yards, pretty much negated the return, really the interception. So what do they need to do to, I guess, just be more disciplined and not have so many penalties?
That's up to the player, man. Up to the players, really. All those penalties, like with Andrew, hitting the quarterback in the face. Come on, everybody know that's a penalty. You know what I'm saying? Like, what your coach can't tell you. Hey, Andrew, don't hit him in the head. Obviously, you know that. You know what I'm saying? It's not something like a coach. You shouldn't have to tell a college guy, okay, don't hit the quarterback in the head. It's a penalty. You already know. You know that. It's a player's responsibility to take ownership of it and say, that was a bad mistake. I shouldn't do that. Like, it's not something that coaching in practice. Guys, we got to be more disciplined. Okay, he can say that, but the player in the game that's playing the game has to know you can't do that. Or you can't chop block. Okay, you can't go below the waist, or you can't, you can't. The guys run away. You can't low block on a guy. That's not something that that's not something a coach can. Coach can say it, yes, but player 9 times out of 10, player knows it's wrong. He just, it's just in the game and in the middle of a play, and he just does it. Just doesn't think about it. He's just going. But that's not something a coach can really coach, really. It's not something that's like, okay, blocking scheme, okay, make sure you get around the guy or use your hands. That's the player's mindset, that's the player's thinking. Like, you gotta know I can't do that. You hear people saying, "Oh, coach, you gotta be more disciplined." Yeah, but it's like those are mental errors. You know, that's a mental thing for a player. You have to know you can't hit a guy in the head or you can't hit a guy in the back. Obviously, you know you can't do that. You know, it's not something a coach can really coach up. It's not. And of course, you can correct it by just constantly saying that, okay, guys, you got to be disciplined. You got to be this. You got to, of course, you can talk about it, but it really boils down to the player knowing that you can't do that.
So, pretty much the same thing I asked you, Skip, with the turnovers. I mean, I'm sure you're kind of looking at. I mean, the body language of some of these guys, and I mean, you play with a few of these guys. So, I mean, is that a concern? Just the amount of penalties and the type of penalties they're getting right now.
I think it is. It's just blocking the back. That's a common one. I mean, sometimes you think you in front of the guy and you're not. But with the low blocks or the personal foul, hitting the quarterback in the head. I mean, that's just not being smart, man. I'm the guy. We got great players. We got smart players. They just, I know you want to get after the quarterback or get after the defender, but you got to play smart. It's just something you get the next game they got to improve on. That's all.
So Doug obviously didn't have the result that everybody wanted. Kind of got away from them, I think, there, especially fourth quarter. But I know when you look at where they are overall, what they're trying to do, you hope you can learn from a game like this. I mean, was it worth it to have the battle at Bristol?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I think if they know if they play like they did in the first quarter, they'll be tough to beat in the ACC for sure. And obviously, it reinforced some things that they got to get better at as far as protected the ball and committing dumb penalties and things like that. But I mean, as far as a measuring stick game, getting ready to go into ACC play, I mean, I think they'll look back on it as a positive. And Virginia Tech was never going to compete for the national championship this year, so dropping one to Tennessee here, isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's all about the ACC this year and trying to get to Charlotte. And I think playing a team that's talented as Tennessee is probably really beneficial going forward, especially with BC this week.
Well, and the thing I was kind of wondering, everybody's thinking, well, I guess a couple of parts here. First of all, are they ever going to play Tennessee? Is this ever going to become a series?
I think it should. It's simple. I mean, they're 3 hours apart from each other.
Yeah, it's not far.
You're looking for a big Power 5 opponent every year to try and get into the playoff at some point. And Tech's pretty much set for the next whoever knows how many years. But I think if they can figure out a way to do it regularly, I think it would be really appealing for both teams.
Skip, should they have another battle at Bristol, or is this like a one-time thing?
Should. I mean, we lost. It was still a good experience for the players and for the Virginia Tech family and fans and everything like that. So I think it shows good atmosphere. It looked like it's good atmosphere, and everybody enjoyed themselves. Even though the outcome wasn't in everybody's favor, but I think it's something they should look into.
Well, and it was kind of cool. I mean, it was a who's who of former Hokies out there, pretty much minus you, Skip. I mean, you have Michael Vick, you have Bruce Smith, Kevin Jones, D'Angelo Hall. All the Redskins guys were there. So that was kind of cool to see everybody come out. But, well, and the thing I'm wondering, too, I don't know if either one of you guys will answer this, but how anymore it's all about one-upping everybody. So does this mean like Daytona? Somebody said last night or said to me during the game, does this mean Daytona needs to have like 2 football games going on at one time? Is that how you one up?
No.
I definitely think they set the blueprint for doing something of that scale, and I'm sure there's a racetrack somewhere that has a similar capacity that would love to break the record. So I won't be surprised to see.
What about Richmond?
Is that a half mile? Was that a mile?
It's a short track.
Come on, man, Richmond, man. You can have a game. What's the Richmond Raceway? Richmond Raceway,
yeah,
right?
RAR, yeah.
Yeah, we should bring it down here, man. Come on, let's hold a game in Richmond, man. Bring it.
For me, who's like never been to that Richmond track. Like, is it kind of similar to Bristol? Like, it's all kind of right in front of you.
I know it's definitely not as big.
It's not.
It's not like a Coliseum. It's kind of the back stretches doesn't have any seats on it, but it would be much different.
Come on, man, we can do it. We can build some seats on
they'll throw some temporary seats, but
maybe they can move that. Like,
it's not going to be as.
There.
What's that?
So maybe they can move the ODU series since they're locked into the old Dominion series. Move that over there.
Yeah, it'd be like a Norfolk State Old Dominion game or something over there. Or something like that. Yeah, or Richmond and JMU game. There it is. Yeah.
Well, yeah. That way Steiny can come back and coach it at Richmond International.
Yeah, there it is.
You can do JMU and Norfolk State, so it'd be Steiny versus Coach Brown, Cornell.
Yep, there it is.
So speaking of that, we got another former coach returning to Blacksburg this week, Boston College and the Fighting Scott Leffler. So, Doug, is that? I guess that's kind of the storyline this week. But is that something to look forward to, or is it just kind of happens to work out that Scott Leffler's coming back?
I think it's one of the intriguing storylines. Yeah, I mean, I think Scott Leffler would obviously love to do well against Virginia Tech. He probably has respect for Frank Beamer and things like that. But when you move on to another spot, I think anytime you get to return, you kind of want to show them what you're made of. And we'll see if Boston College has the talent to do anything, because they were pretty poor on offense last year.
Yeah, he does have a decent quarterback to work with, at least. Like you said, Boston College hasn't had much the last couple of years. Patrick Tolles, who transferred from Kentucky. I remember watching him in Kentucky and even in some camps when he was coming up. He's I don't know if you guys know Senator Jim Bunning. He's been a Kentucky senator forever. He's like I think it's his grandson, I believe. But anyway, he's got a decent quarterback to work with, and it'll be interesting to see what Boston College can show him. But Skip, you guys, this isn't something new. Like, you guys do this every year where you play these out of conference games. Or I guess you had the 1 year with Georgia Tech in the opener, but usually you have a couple out of non-conference games. Do you have to kind of change your mindset or anything when you start ACC play, or how do you or do you adjust, or do you do anything different?
It's not really a thing of adjusting. It's starting ACC play. These games are most important games. Kind of mindset. Those other games, okay, we lose or we win, and it's good for if you want to go to the national championship, things like that. But the ACC games are most important because everybody wants to get to the ACC championship. So it's the same mindset, because it's like next we want the next game and we think about this opponent. But it's a little extra because that these games are going to lead you to the ACC championship. So, but I think this week, it should be easy game plan for the Virginia Tech defense this week. Because they seen it all last year, so they should have a one up on Boston College, because it's probably the same offense as last year, all year during practice. So it should be a pretty easy game plan for Coach Foster and those guys.
Well, and I'm thinking this is one of those types of games too. I mean, not to put any pressure on here, but especially these next two games. You got 2 home games in a row, and then they got 4 out of 5 in conference on the road. The only home game is the Thursday game with Miami in end of October. So, to me, if nothing else, Doug, I don't know about you, but it seems like it's pretty important that they take care of business. They win these kind of games that they should be winning.
Yeah, especially this Boston College game. ECU's out of conference, so that won't affect the ACC. But, when you're getting ready to play 4 or 5 on the road in conference, I think this one at home is one, you pretty much have to have if you want a chance to play for the play for the ACC championship. Based off yesterday, it looked like Pittsburgh was going to be quite the team this year. Carolina's good, so Tech's going to have to kind of keep pace with them until they play them in October.
Yeah, I thought Pitt looked good, but I couldn't tell if Pitt was that good or Penn State just is still down. James Conner obviously is pretty legit as a back, but I'm not sure Penn State's quite back to where they
That's true, but
typically are.
42 points is pretty.
Yeah.
Pitt, you think of kind of all defense, no offense, but if they can kind of put together the offense with the defense, then I think, they got a shot, especially in the ACC.
So Skip, kind of give us kind of switching up here a little bit. Want to kind of give a little recruiting segue. How did the Springers do last week? How they looking this week? Kind of give us a little recruiting update.
Springers took an L this past Friday to Meadowbrook, 8-7. It's one of those games, man. Just
8-7.
8-7, man.
How did you get an 8-7 game? Did you have a safety?
No, we had we scored. We scored, kicked the field goal, and they scored, went for 2.
Okay.
So it was one of those games. The guys played hard, but couldn't put it out. We got a bye week coming up, but we played Armstrong after that. So looking to bounce back and get the shit back on right. So we'll be good though. It's just one of those games, man. You just look back, it's like we missed a lot of opportunities. So.
Man, that's a Derrick Hopkins defensive stand though. 8-7, only 2 scores the whole game. How'd our guy Mackay look though?
Oh, he looked good. He good in pass pro, good in run. But it's as a team overall, we just missed a lot of opportunities, man.
So, with that, not a ton of updates right now. It was obviously Tennessee was the home team. I think they had a few recruits at the game, but Virginia Tech couldn't have any. You couldn't set up anybody. I'm sure there were a few who were there, but next couple weeks, got a lot of visitors coming. Doug got basketball officials. We got football officials next few weeks. Especially since you only got one home game. How important do you feel like it is for basketball and football to, make a little bit of advancement maybe with a couple of home games here?
Yeah, it's huge. You talked about how the schedule sets up. They don't play another Saturday home game until middle of November. So the next 2 weeks, it's pretty much Virginia Tech's main chance to get guys on campus for a game for quite some time. So, these are wildly important, especially given in September the weather's still going to be good and they'll have an opportunity to. Isn't that ECU game at 3:30 already?
The BC game is 3:30. I don't know. Did they give a time for ECU?
I'm not sure. I didn't know that, but the 3:30 kick is perfect for recruits to get them down there on Saturday morning and. As opposed to a noon start where you got to get up even earlier for that. So,
well, the ECU game's a homecoming too. So you'd hope it was no. There's no time on that one yet.
Okay.
So
yeah.
The
Well.
next couple days.
Yeah, 3:30 at home and September's probably the perfect setup for a recruiting weekend. So, it's a big opportunity. To probably have a ton of visitors on campus.
All right, so Doug, before we get to our shout-outs, I do want to – I don't know if you heard our podcast. Skip and I had to hold it down without you last week, but we know we have at least one more loyal listener Mr. Dave Gettings, who is we gave him. Well, of course, I'm giving him another shout out here this time. So if he's listening, came up to me at the Liberty game to tell me what a good job that we did on the podcast. So we've got. We know we've got your man Whit Babcock, but shout out to Dave Gettings here.
Loyal listener number 2, Mr. Dave. What's
Dave
up?
Gettings. Dave Gettings.
And then we were talking about Skip actually got some fan mail or fan response on Twitter.
Yeah. I'm getting that too. I'm just not telling you guys.
Hey man, you gotta respond back to the fans, man. You can't. Come on, Doug. You gotta say something bad. You can't just let them. You gotta respond, man. Come on.
You gotta play the game, right?
I'm responding. I'm just not bragging about it.
Oh,
they know who they
so
are.
Modest.
They know who they are.
So, Doug, who's your shout out?
I'm going to shout out Bristol Motor Speedway. Very cool weekend. Lots of people. I guess there was 4,000 empty seats, but I didn't really see them. But
really?
Just the whole event.
How would you be
isn't
able
it
to
an honor? That's true.
Like,
I guess there's no empty seats in my section.
Yeah, I know. Like,
That's true.
From the field, I couldn't see any empty seats. They looked pretty darn full to me. It was quite
Yeah, it was pretty packed. So,
did you go to the concerts and everything too, Doug?
I went to the concerts during the day on Saturday.
Okay.
But just walking around there before the game, they had lots of stuff going on. It kind of felt like we were talking earlier, like a championship game or a bowl game or something like that. So,
I feel like a state fair. They had like a Ferris wheel and rock climbing wall.
Yeah.
Funnel cakes. It was like state fair.
I didn't get on the Ferris wheel, but I saw it.
Did you climb the rock wall?
Nope, didn't do that either.
No. Well, you're really missing out on your opportunities there, Doug. You need to take advantage of those. I gotta give my
rock
shout out.
Wall is a little too strenuous for me.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got to shout out my Bengals, man. NFL opening weekend. A few good games on Sunday afternoon. Bengals get the last-second field goal. So 1-0. Feel pretty good about that. Skip, who you shouting out?
Shouting out, man. Who can I shout out this week? Shout out Dave Giddens again, man. My man Dave. You listening, man? 2 chests. 2 pounds to the chest, baby. My man. Dave Giddens.
Dave's got his goatee though too, man. He's looking sharp now. Every time I see him, he's got shades on.
Shades with the goatee. What's up, Dave?
I'm just gonna start calling him Shades now.
Shades and goatee with the bald head. Oh yeah.
Well, I was about to say, don't scare him away, Doug. We don't need to, or Skip. We don't need to lose one of our loyal listeners here.
Oh no, man. That's how me and Dave do, man. We go back and forth with each other, man.
There you go.
Bald head with shades and goatee. Oh yeah.
Well, we'll be shouting out if we can get some more loyal listeners. Let us know. Don't be bashful like Doug and not let us know if you're a loyal listener. We'll give you a shout out on here.
Just don't tweet Doug. Tweet me. Doug won't respond.
Well,
he'll be on the golf course.
Yeah, the service probably isn't good enough out on the golf course to respond, though, right, Doug?
Probably not. No, you know, it's not the personal touch I like to go with. Like to hit him up with that direct message. So I'm gonna slide right into those DMs.
Slide into the DMs. I hope it's a lady.
Doug's gonna hit him in the DM. That's good to know.
Slide in the DMs.
All right. Well, we got. Let's see. Kelly will be man in the press box this coming week for Boston College. Anybody who is even if you're just hanging out tailgating, if you're going to be at the game, come stop by our tailgate. We're in Lot 4, right up against Beamer Way. So same side as the stadium. I mean, if you're walking from like Chicken Hill, you can't miss it. But yeah, stop by. We got Bull and Bones wings, hot dogs.
Bull and Bones wings.
Man, they're
Bull and
legit.
Bones wings.
I'm telling you, Skip, they're waiting on you whenever you make it in.
I don't know. When I come in, I'll let you know, man. Bull and Bones, you gotta, you know. I need more wings when I come in town. Yeah, they got to order some more.
Right. Well, we may have to get an extra tray when Skip comes in.
That is extra tray, just for me.
So if you can fight off Skip, Doug, you can get a few wings in.
I think Skip and Dave are going to split that extra tray.
Skip and Shades. I like that. Skip and Shades. Working on the wings. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us for another edition of the VTZone.com Scoutcast. Like I said, plenty of coverage coming from Boston College this week. First ACC game of the season. Have tons of coverage coming from that. Recruiting stuff still coming this week. Still got a few updates. Going to have a war room. If it's not already up on the site, we'll be here today on Monday. So check in for that. Got some recruiting updates. For Doug Bowman, Derrick Skip Hopkins, I'm Jason Stamm. Thank you for listening, and check us back here next week.